the BG Podcast Network studios, brought to you by Chattahoochee Tech, this is your Paulding County News Podcast, bringing our stories to life with news, events, and what we're talking about in Paulding County. Like, follow, and subscribe to hear the latest news from the Paulding County News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. And here's what you're talking about.
Welcome to your Paulding County News Podcast. I'm Melissa Carter, along with Doug Harding. More construction in Paulding County will get your take on it. Plus, you're on a flight and settling into the trip as something begins to drip on your head. Well, what is it? Something you'll be glad not to experience. We'll tell you all about it. But first, let's take a look at our top stories. A mother in Hiram has embarked on a journey to Connecticut in search of her son's missing ashes. Tanjanika Lee shipped a box containing her son's ashes along with cherished belongings to her sister's home in Waterbury on January 8th. However, the package never reached its destination, leaving Lee devastated. In a statement, UPS emphasized their policy against transporting human remains and expressed deep regret over their inability to locate the package, offering a $5,000 reward for any information leading to the recovery of her son's remains. Lee's plea is simple: just return them. If you have any information on the package's whereabouts, please contact UPS customer service at 1-800-742-5877 or customerrelations@ups.com. This from WVIT.
That woman lost her son twice.
Right. Horrific. Absolutely horrific.
Wellstar Health System is making moves to expand its presence in Paulding County. The healthcare giant has filed a letter of intent with the Georgia Department of Community Health to construct a $305 million tower at its Paulding Medical Center in Hiram. This 8-story tower would add 56 acute care beds, significantly increasing the hospital's capacity to meet the growing needs of the community. With construction expected to begin next year and completion set for 2028, this expansion underscores the ongoing efforts of healthcare systems to adapt to population growth and enhance healthcare access. This from BizNow.
In a push for renewable energy, 2 Georgia Assembly members are spearheading bills to expand community solar initiatives in the state. Paulding County State Senator Jason Anavitarte is set to introduce SB 210 to committee, while Representative Beth Camp has recently introduced HB 1152. Now, these bills aim to enable solar developers to participate in a community solar program overseen by the Georgia Public Service Commission. Additionally, they emphasize the importance of cost-effective innovation to benefit the state, individuals, and small businesses. A working group facilitated by the Georgia SEIA organization will bring together stakeholders from electric distribution utilities, consumers, and the community solar industry to ensure the smooth operation of the program through proactive dialogue. This from Solar Power World.
Checking your weather, thank you to Angie Chavez Realty. Sunny today, but it's going to be pretty cold. We'll have highs in Dallas and Hiram at 52 and 53 respectively, and a low of 29. Monday, it's going to be partly sunny, high in Dallas and Hiram of 61. That's awesome. A low of 33. Oh, that's not so awesome.
That's not so awesome.
Warming up with highs reaching the upper 60s by midweek. I'm loving that weather.
We say it every time. Spring is just flirting with us, but boy, what is that for a low of 29 tonight? Ugh, bring your pets and your old people in.
98.7 Chat Tech, where 98.7% of our students earn a career.
You know, be somebody that's motivated to want to learn a lot about brewing, because there's a lot to learn, and somebody that's really interested in the process that's going on. But if you have a more of a scientific take to it, that definitely helps in understanding how to troubleshoot things, because things are always coming up during the process, and there's definitely a lot of troubleshooting and scientific method involved throughout everything you do in brewing.
The extremely low tuition compared to anywhere else. When I first graduated high school, I was living in Woodstock at the time because I wouldn't have been able to afford to go live on campus anywhere. So my options were more or less Kennesaw State or Chattahoochee Tech.
I've been bouncing around jobs and I didn't really know what to do. And I had a friend doing his biomedical engineering degree. Yeah, he told me to jump on board. I did that, and here I am, repairing medical equipment.
Visit chattahoocheetech.edu, where 98.7% of our students earn a career.
We're back with more of your Paulding County News Podcast.
From WSB's Facebook page, a Georgia father faces murder charges following the death of his 1-year-old daughter in the early hours of Valentine's Day. Akeem Jordan arrested just after 3 a.m. The child's grandmother was injured in that violent altercation. The investigation is ongoing as authorities work to determine the circumstances surrounding this heartbreaking incident. Now, Leslie Levine says this is so sad. It was preventable. He should have never been allowed back into the public after the horrific act of violence last April against the little girl's mother. Joyce Sr. says domestic violence is still only a misdemeanor. Patrick O'Brien, jail justice coming his way for sure. Nicole Nicky says beyond evil needs done to him what he did to that sweet innocent baby. And Lynn Redding says the same thing. I hope they get the same they did to the baby.
And once that guy goes to prison, they found out what he did. He's in some serious trouble.
Yeah. From the Paulding County Uncensored Facebook page, I heard through the grapevine they're building another apartment complex in downtown Dallas where Elrod's is. I'm confused why they think this is okay when we don't have the infrastructure for it, and there are several people in the community still on well and on septic. When can they start taking care of what we already have? Dan Cantrell says Paulding County commissioners do not care about you. They care about lining their and their buddies' pockets. Julie Leggett says, I am so over all the building. We don't have the schools for this, and the traffic has gotten horrible. I have lived here all my life, and I'm ready to move because of it. Daniel Head said, need more apartments with more people for all those car washes.
Beat me to the joke.
There's a lot of car washes in Paulding County. And then Madison faces, oh my God, it's like people don't want their town to come into the 21st century. More housing is the start of expansion because you'll bring in more people to help contribute towards all the needed development. So we want to know what your thoughts are. Please give us a call, 404-997-8655. Again, 404-997-8655. Tell us what you think, not only about all the construction or the car washes or anything else you want to tell us about Paulding County. All right, Doug, your weird story for the day. I promise you that you have not heard anything like this before.
Okay.
I'm making that challenge, okay? Chaos erupted aboard a Delta flight from Amsterdam to Detroit after maggots rained down on passengers from the overhead compartment.
It's like a horror movie in the air.
Yes, maggots. So the flight was just an hour into the 9-hour journey, and they had to make a U-turn and go back to the original destination. Passengers described the scene as absolutely gross, with maggots wriggling around in seats and falling onto people's heads. Oh, one passenger reported that larvae came from a rotten fish. That's where
What?
The fish was rotten enough and had been out long enough for these maggots to be there and rain on the heads. Anyway, despite complaints about the odor and lack of attention from flight attendants, Delta confirmed the presence of maggots and apologized to the passengers. Sorry is not enough. The aircraft returned to the gate for cleaning and, of course, disrupted the travel plans for those on board. This from Sky News.
You know, Melissa, that reminds me of a similar incident. This happened in 1980 where there was a flight, I think it was going to Chicago, and they were serving fish on the plane as dinner, and half the people on the plane got sick, including the pilots. Even Kareem Abdul-Jabbar got sick from it.
Okay, so that's called Airplane. That was a great movie, one of my favorite movies ever. Don't Call Me Shirley. There was one time, I will say, when my best friend and I were at the grocery store and we had our groceries on the belt, and the woman looked at us and said, all together. And then we repeated to her in unison what we had just said because of the movie. That was a brilliant moment. That was brilliant.
I love it.
What's happening in Paulding County? We've got you covered.
Okay, let's check out some events happening here in Paulding County. Tomorrow morning, beginning at 9 o'clock, hiking with your favorite farm animal at Farm at Little Fox Hollow in Dallas. That sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah, cute.
And February 24th from 10 a.m. till noon, Bowls for Beardies Pet Pottery Workshop at EK's Art Barn in Dallas. March 9th at 10 a.m. till noon, 1,000 Books Before Kindergarten Party at Burn Hickory Park in Dallas. And one more, March 16th, starting at 10:30 a.m., it is the Easter egg hunt in Sarah Babb Park, that in Dallas.
Oh, Easter. I've seen them in the stores already, all the chocolate eggs. I will be happy to hunt those down any day. You know, when you think about the holidays, it's usually a magical time and a charitable time, but there are people in need in Paulding County throughout the year. We're going to talk to Barb Forgione of Hiram First United Methodist Church about their food pantry and how you can help your community.
Angie Chavez is an experienced real estate agent serving Paulding, Cobb, and other counties in Georgia for 24 years. She is dedicated to serving her clients and has extensive knowledge of the West Georgia real estate market. Angie has won numerous awards for her sales production and is a $1 million member of the National Board of Realtors. She specializes in new home construction and is an accredited buyer agent. Angie is also passionate about giving back and supporting military, veterans, teachers, and public servants. Whether buying or selling, Angie Chavez with Atlanta Communities is the right choice. Call her today at 404-401-0739 or visit her website at angiechavez.atlcommunities.com. Hey, unlike others, Angie will call you back if you don't reach her the first time. That's 404-401-0739.
Don't forget to like, follow, and subscribe to the Paulding County News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts.
All of our feature interview pieces here on the Paulding County News Podcast are presented by Credit Union of Georgia.
Let's meet some of the interesting people in our neighborhood.
Barbara Forgione, who is the chair of the Outreach and Missions Committee at Hiram First United Methodist Church, joins us. Barb, thank you so much for being a part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me. As a church, we are always looking for ways that we can serve our local community. Our church is struggling. We are small, and COVID decimated our congregation to a large extent.
No.
We have, in fact, had to give up our full-time pastor, and now we are working with a part-time pastor. So we are still here working through the issues. We do have our most active ministry is our Food for Friends food pantry. It happens on the fourth Saturday of every month. Typically, our numbers average that we serve about 80 families, and we distribute usually around 3,000 pounds of food.
Wow. I want to stop you there because, number one, that's impressive. Number two, it kind of, I don't know, I feel like it goes into what ministry is about or should be about for a lot of churches. Like you mentioned, like Hiram First United Methodist Church, struggling post-pandemic, and you're still taking the time and the energy to be able to feed that many people and have this food pantry once a month. And that's the reason I wanted you to come on the podcast. I told her this off air, and Barb, tell me if I'm wrong from your experience, but the holidays are wonderful. It's a magical time. I think because it's a magical time, people feel better about themselves. And I think when people feel better about themselves, they tend to be more charitable. You are used to doing charitable things during the holidays. I assume, though, now that we're kind of over the holidays, we're getting into a new year, it's still winter, and people are kind of, I'm ready for spring and something new, that they may not be thinking as charitable as they normally do. So that's why I wanted to bring you on to talk about this pantry and how people can help you in case they're like, oh, yeah, you know what? I still want to do something that might make me feel better now that it's still getting cold at night.
There's actually a couple ways that people can help. Number one, it is a volunteer effort. And as you can imagine, packing 3,000 pounds of food is a pretty labor-intensive activity. We pack the day before the distribution. So we pack on the fourth Friday of every month. Anybody who wants to come volunteer and help us pack, all you have to do is show up at the church on the fourth Friday, and we'll put you to work. You don't have to be a member of the church. There's no pre-requirements. If you can put stuff in a bag, you're welcome. We also get food from the Atlanta Community Food Bank, but we will distribute as much as we get. As I said, we only do this once a month, and we are very much aware that what we give people doesn't carry them through a month, especially for some of the larger families. So anybody who wants to drop off a couple of cans of green beans or whatever, we're happy to take. We will give out as much food as we have on our shelves. The pantry is also available during the week for people who are in extreme need. If they come to the church, knock on the door, we will prepare a bag of food and give it to people on that one-time basis. Also, on the pantry days, we have free clothing that people can take. We have children's clothing and adult clothing. It's all donated to us, and you can take as much as you need for your family, and it's all free.
There's a lot of people who may not be connected to a church, or maybe some people who aren't comfortable being connected to a church for various reasons. But it's like you said earlier, you know, the fact that you don't have to be a member of the church, just be a member of the community, want to serve. The church community, the strength of the church communities is this outreach. Barb, I'm impressed by everything that you guys are doing, despite the fact that, like you said, you're struggling with the function of the church itself. So 2 things. Number one, I'd love for you to talk a little bit about your experience on pantry days. How does it make you feel when you see these families come and get food that they normally wouldn't get? And then secondly, if people want to get involved, how do they get in touch with you?
Everybody has their own faith journey, and that's true of our food pantry. The people we have working at the food pantry are just fun to be around. We have a great time packing and distributing, and we like being together. We feel like we're happy when we leave. We feel like we've done something good, but we've enjoyed our day on top of it. The pastor just preached a couple weeks ago about how many times do you walk past somebody on a street corner or in front of a store asking for help? How many times do you cross the street and don't help them? We're starting a campaign to be able to spread the word of the food pantry to those kinds of people so they can come and get food for their families. The church is located at 324 Hiram Douglasville Highway in Hiram.
That email address for Barb, bjf0337@gmail.com, and we'll have that in the show notes. Barb, thank you so much. Barb Forgione is the chair of the Outreach and Missions Committee for Hiram First United Methodist Church. Barb, thank you for your time, and thank you for what you do for the community.
Please reach out to us if there's any other way that we can join with you and be of service. We've got the people and we've got the desire. Let me know if we can help.
Life's a constant hustle, and at Credit Union of Georgia, our focus is crystal clear. It's all about you. Juggling a million things? We get it. That's why we're committed to providing the best service imaginable. We're not just your credit union, we're your financial allies. Knowledge is our power, from crafting basic budget plans to navigating the local home buying scene. Questions popping up? We've got you covered with fast, friendly answers. Because we want you to spend more time living your life. Imagine a financial institution that truly cares. That's Credit Union of Georgia inviting you to join us. If you live, work in Bartow, Cherokee, Cobb, Dawson, Paulding, Pickens, or Union County, we want you as a member of Credit Union of Georgia family. Because here, you're not just a member, you're part of a community that cares. Ready to experience banking that revolves around you? Call us at 678-486-1111 or visit cuofga.org. Credit Union of Georgia. Your financial journey, our priority.
We're back with more of your Paulding County News Podcast.
Well, a community in Snellville is rallying together as Marvin Harkis, a husband, father, and counselor at his local church, remains missing since February 2nd. 46-year-old Harkis was last seen heading to work at Adapt Health in Norcross. Now, according to his wife, Harkis left for work that morning despite still recovering from the flu. His disappearance is out of character, leaving behind his belongings and exhibiting unusual behavior captured on surveillance footage. Anyone with information is urged to call Norcross Police at 770-448-2111. This from 11 Alive.
Checking your sports, high school basketball action. South Paulding boys beat Langston Hughes on Thursday, 71-65. The South Paulding girls, they also played Langston Hughes, but they lost 67-29.
Oof. So
I know. North Paulding boys, they lost to Harrison 64-47 on Wednesday, while the girls beat Hillgrove Thursday 56-34. Hiram boys lost to Calhoun 78-73, while the girls lost to Dalton 66-40.
And finally, Caring Transitions, the nation's leading provider of senior relocation and transition services, launches its newest location in Paulding County. Serving Dallas, Hiram, Powder Springs, and nearby communities, Caring Transitions of Powder Springs and Dallas is led by a remarkable team of individuals committed to making a difference. Owned and operated by husband and wife duos Renee and Kevin Pritchett, along with Tammy Deal and Jay Whitaker, this franchise embodies a fusion of compassion and expertise in senior care solutions. So what services do they provide? Decluttering, organizing, move management, estate sales, and more. And they aim to minimize stress and facilitate smooth transitions for seniors and their families. To learn more about Caring Transitions, just visit caringtransitions.com. This from The Patch. And we will have final thoughts after this.
Whether you're new to church, have been a Christian for many years, or looking for a fresh start, you're welcome at New Season Church. New Season is a place where people can believe in God, belong to a family of believers, and become fully devoted followers. We exist so that people far from God may experience life in Christ and become fully engaged followers. Join us for one of our 2 Sunday services, 9 or 11 a.m.
Hi, this is Pastor Steve Flockhart. Whether you're new to the Paulding community or have been here since the day you were born, New Season Church is a place where all are welcome. From our exciting children and student ministries to our engaging Bible studies and small groups and events, I promise New Season Church has a place for you.
New Season Church, just off Highway 278 at 4457 Atlanta Highway in Hiram. We exist so that people far from God may experience life in Christ and become fully engaged followers. New Season looks forward to seeing your entire family this Sunday, and feel free to check us out online at newseason.cc. We believe what comes into our minds when we think about God is the most important thing about us. We look forward to seeing you Sunday at 9 or 11 a.m. at New Season Church in Hiram. Thanks for listening to today's Paulding County News Podcast. Follow and subscribe to hear the latest news from the Paulding County News Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. For you, about you, and from you. Get involved in the conversation at 404-997-8655 or info@bgadgroup.com. Did you know over 50% of Americans listen to podcasts weekly? Make sure you join us for our next episode, and be sure to share this podcast on social media with your friends and family. Add us to your Alexa Flash Briefing or your Google Home Briefing, and be sure to like, follow, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
This podcast is a production of BG Ad Group. All rights reserved.
This podcast aggregate content from other sources for informational purposes and is in no way trying to infringe on the copyrights or businesses of any other entities. All content posted up on the site is used under the Fair Use Copyright Law 107. All audio, media, and articles are copyrighted to the original owners. All audio on this podcast are embedded from YouTube.com and are owned by their respective copyright owners. No audio information are copyrighted or stored on our servers. The court ruled that linking or embedding copyrighted videos is not copyright infringement, even if the source video was uploaded without permission. However, we will gladly remove any audio clip upon valid request from respective copyright owners. Any owners also have the option to disable embedding his YouTube videos on other websites. News and press articles are owned by the respective copyright owners. Where possible, the appropriate accreditation or source of the article is given on the same page. The audio-video files on this site are for listening purposes only. Downloading of these files to one's computer is strictly prohibited. They are owned by the respective copyright owners. If it is in the organization's belief that the usage or specific content used on our site containing copyrighted knowledge conflicts with authorized use and or does not comply with fair use as described in the context, contact us through our contact page and we will remove the offending content immediately. Thanks for listening to the Paulding County News Podcast.